Hello little cuties and welcome to my channel, Fixin Hillbilly. Today we're making a Halloween wreath with a cute little sign that says serve daily, witch's brew. Now this is a Deco Mesh wreath with plenty of ribbons and bows. Now my name's Melinda and I was raised in the hills of West Virginia. So let's get started. Okay, so here's our supplies. Now that multicolor, you're going to need 20 of those cut at 15 inches. You're going to need 10 of the black cut at 15 inches. That mesh rope, you're going to need 10 of those cut at 24 inches. Both ribbons, you're going to need 10 each one of those cut at 12 inches and dovetailed on the ends. And then you're going to need a sign if you want. I didn't think it really needed a sign. It was so cute when I got it done with all the ribbons in it. And then of course you'll need a frame. That is a 14-inch frame from the Dollar Tree. Now we're going to do something a little bit different today. Normally I let y'all watch me do the whole wreath, but we're going to start with the wreath and then I'm going to finish it off camera. Tell me in the comments if you like it this way or not. If you want me to go back to showing the whole thing, I'll do that too. Usually I just play music while I'm just carrying on. So just let me know which you like. So this is 15-inch mesh and I'm going to fold the end over just a couple times just to hide those ends so it don't fray so bad. Because you can hide a lot in that double curl there. Okay, now once you clip the end, then you're just going to go to the other end, fold it over a couple times, and then you're going to walk your way up the center. Okay, now on these I'm not putting bows because there's a lot of color, as you can see on this particular mesh. It's real pretty and both sides are the same. Now I'm going to start with putting this piece on A and B. You all know I go from outside to inside. A, B, C, and D. This particular piece is going on A and B. Now we're going to alternate all the way around. We're not going to do like two like I normally do and then one in the middle because we've got 20 of these pieces cut and 10 of the black. So we're just going to rotate back and forth between A and B and C and D. So you're just going to pull that tight and then flip it around the back because you're going to be cutting that tail off. Alright, and let's show you again how we're doing this. My previous video that I did, it didn't show the way I wanted it to, and I didn't realize it until after it was already published and up. So I'm really making sure that we can see this good and all of y'all can see exactly how to do these wreaths. Okay, so you just roll the ends, walk it up the center, and then put it together. Now I'm not doing any rolls this time. A lot of times I'll add a roll to it, but I'm not doing that because this mesh is so long. With it being 15 inches, that you don't really need anything else to it. Plus, this is going to be a lot once we get it completed. There's going to be a lot in there that's going to cover the frame in the back, so you're not going to see it anyway. So you're just going to pull that down real tight. And flip it over to the back, and then we're just going to tighten those down. I was getting ready to say torque them down, tighten them down, or torque them down, whichever one you want to do. And then just clip that off. Okay, so you're going to do 2 of those. Now we're going to do a black one. Now on the black, that's where we're going to put our ribbons because there's not a lot of color there. So we're going to put our color on that one. Now this one's also cut 15 inches, but there's only 10 of those, because that's all you're going to need to go completely around the wreath. And I think I ended up with about 5 bundles in each section, and there's 6 sections. Okay, now with this black mesh, I'm going to put the 2 ribbons, as I said. I'm also going to put this mesh tubing. Now that tubing I measured out at 12 inches, but then I doubled it. Now I was going to like fold it and crisscross the ends, but I don't want to have to fight it when I'm putting it in the wreath form. So I did decide to go ahead and just tie a bow. It was so much easier. And you're not going to see the zip tie anyway, unless of course you walk up to it and you're going to dig down in there and try to find the center of it. You might see it then, but just, you know, it hanging on a door or something, you're not going to see that. Because with as many as I have in there, you're not going to see it at all. Now, as you see, I was going to crisscross and then pull down the bunny ears. No. So that's when I just decided, let's just do a bow, just a shoe tie bow, and then just drop it down in there in the center, and then we're just going to put it on the wreath form. And because the only thing I really wanted for this anyway is I just wanted those to stick out to give it a little bit more dimension, and you know, pull out that purple out of that bow. Now I'm just going to attach it to the wreath form. Now what I'm doing is seeing if I put my last one on A and B or C and D. It must have been C and D, because now I'm going to A and B. Now I did find that doing it this way, 2 of those multicolored mesh and then 1 of the others with the ribbons in it, it always ends up where one of those black ribbons with the mesh, with the ribbons, one goes on the bottom and the other one will end up on top, and then the next time the other one will end up on the bottom, which was real good because it evened those out. It evened those bows out, so it looked, you know, a little bit more balanced. And then just push that up. Now I'm going to do 2 on the other side of the multicolored mesh. I really like these colors together, and that purple and green gives it a real pop. So I'm going to show you a couple more how I'm doing this. Remember, 15 inches, roll the ends, then put your clip on there. You can put a clip on there or not. And I've said this before, I can't remember that lady's name, but she has this really handy little device that she puts on there and works it up, the whole thing. I thought it might be an extra step for me, but I think it might be handy as soon as I figure out who it is, because I don't remember. I look at a lot of different crafters to try to get some ideas myself. Then I end up going with my own thing. You know how that is. But there are some really good crafters on YouTube. I mean, all over the place. So definitely check them out when you're checking out wreaths. Check out everybody. I mean, there's some really good crafters on there. Have some really good ideas. And then you're just going to pull those real tight, and then just snip those ends off, and then just push them together. So you got 2 on one side, then you got the one with the ribbon, and then you're going to put 2 on the other side of the multicolored mesh, and then you're going to do the black mesh with the ribbons again. Fold it over a couple times on the end, and then just flip it around. And what this is doing, I've seen, is it actually covers up some of that fray, so it's not so bad. This one, you can see little pieces on my hands, on my table. It's from that multicolored mesh. But you know, it's okay. It's so worth it. It only takes a minute to run the sweeper and get that off yourself because I really like the way it looks. So remember, you're going to go A and B, then C and D. A and B, then C and D. You're going to do 2 multicolored mesh, then 1 mesh with the ribbon, then 2 more multicolored mesh. And you're going to go all the way around. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. Okay, now that the wreath is done, and I'll show you that in just a minute, I went ahead and I put 2 zip ties together because I needed them to be just a little bit longer. I'll tell you, that stapler is just becoming a nightmare. I don't know why. Different things that's coming through, I had to cut them off. The little pieces that were coming through, I had to cut them off so no one would get cut on them. Yeah, not very much fun. So what I do is I just flip it over, and then I'm going to run it through the back and then just attach it usually to the C and D wires, the middle wires, and then just pull that tight. And be careful not to pull it too tight because you don't want to squish your top. Then you're going to move it around a little. And this is very forgiving. I mean, you can move it around a little. If it gets, you know, a little bit too out of control, then just cut your zip tie and start over. But I'll tell you, that stapler is really bothering me with, you know, it's a lot of extra work. So I've decided to start using my E6000 and maybe even putting some pipe cleaners on the back. I think it's going to be a lot easier and a lot easier to attach. But what I'm going to do is attach them like the day before so they have plenty of time to dry. Then I don't have to worry about them coming off. Then you're just going to tighten that up. And then you're just going to fluff everything around it, you know, kind of pulling those things out, tighten them down, pull the ribbons out, and then tighten them down again. So that way you can still see the ribbons behind it because they're all pulled out. Okay, just go ahead and fluff that out. Make sure your ribbons are facing the right way and they're not flipped upside down. And honestly, I usually work on that until I'm completely done with it. I'm constantly fluffing it. And then after I get it done and go put it on the wall, a lot of times I go back and fluff it again just to make sure that it is the way that I want it. Okay, there you go. Go ahead and tighten those down again, I reckon. Okay. Now I am going to put a bow on this, but I'm just going to do a fold over bow because it has a lot of bows in it. I mean, it really does. But I really like the colors in this sign. I like making things with a lot of different colors in it, and you know, to watch it turn from nothing into something. And those little pivots down there at the bottom under the brew is where those silly things come down. But I'm going to go down there and I'm going to take some black paint and touch that up. So you can't see that. I've already clipped off the actual staple. Now, I'm just going to flip this bow over. Nothing fancy. Just going to flip it over. And then I'll dovetail that one end. I could have left it longer, but there's so many bows in it that, you know, it's fine. There's lots of ribbon in it. And then just flip that over. Then we've got another tail there. And then I'm just going to pinch them together. then I grab a zip tie, and I'm going to put that one underneath, because remember, I attach everything together, and then the one that's underneath is actually going to be attached to the frame. That way I don't have to fight with the ribbon and the zip tie while I'm putting it on. That's just too much. I am not going to do that. That's just too much of a headache. Whatever's easy. And you, of course, can make a ribbon with, you know, big long ribbons hanging off of it. You just do you. This is just how I wanted to do mine. But you can do it any way you want to. And I am going to add another zip tie to that, because I need it just a little bit longer, so when I'm putting it on the frame, I've actually got enough room to get down in there. Because I'm using 10-inch mesh, so that's going to make that wreath pretty thick. So you're going to need, you know, a long enough zip tie to get down in there. Now, if you're using pipe cleaners, or I think they call them Chanel stems too, if you're using those, you ain't going to have a problem, because those are pretty long even when you double them over. Once you get your bow in position, then you're just going to flip it over, and you're going to hook that zip tie, and then just pull it tight. I like using the zip ties because it looks like a cleaner craft in the back. It doesn't look all crazy. I've seen some that it looks pretty busy back there, let's just say that. And it was me doing it, nothing anybody else has done. It was actually me in the beginning, and I was like, my goodness, I need something to cover that up. And if your looks like that, that's okay. I've seen where people go get like a round placemat at the Dollar Tree, and you just put it on the back and zip tie it on, and you can't see none of that. So in the beginning, it might look a little bit scary back there if you're a new crafter, and that's okay, because everybody has to learn. And if that's the case, just get you a placemat and put on the back, and you're good as gold. Okay. Now, once you get that in place, and you're probably still going to have to fluff it again, just go ahead and tighten that zip tie down so it don't come off, and then just go ahead and clip your end. Sometimes I leave a little bit on the end of the bow just in case, you know, it needs tightened down a little bit more, but this one looked pretty good, so I didn't really have to do that. Because I didn't want it too tight anyway, because I didn't want it smashing the wreath. Now, there's your Halloween Witch's Brew wreath. And you can put that on any door, or you can put it somewhere in your house, whatever you want. But I want to thank y'all for joining me here today on my channel. Thank you to all my subscribers. I feel really blessed to have y'all, and I want to thank you. And remember, you were born to do great things. So stay strong in the Lord. Never give up hope, and always take time to pray. It's important. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.